And we are live. What's good? It's your man DL saying, welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? What's good? What is good, man? I hope you guys are good. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Let me turn the light down a little bit here. I apologize for being late, guys. You know I like to be on time, but it's Jay Swan's fault. He had me on the phone. We were talking. It's his fault. All right. So next time y'all see him, let him know. Let him know. But yeah, man, we're gonna continue our political week. And for the record, we're gonna do this. Maybe do. We're working on doing a town hall type show between now and the election. I'm working with my brothers on that, so we're gonna get that one done as well. And then Tuesday is the election, so after that, there's not going to be a need to really talk about politics so much, right? We'll be able to talk about what's going on internationally. There are reports that the North Koreans have sent 10,000 troops to Russia. So Putin could possibly use these soldiers in his war against Ukraine. In fact, there are reports that even before this, these 10,000 soldiers were deployed from North Korea to Russia, that I think it's allegedly six North Korean officers were deleted in an attack on the line. So that is definitely escalating over there. We'll be able to start getting into that, get into what's going on in the Middle East, start talking about what's going on here in America. You're looking at what's going on with the stock market, up and down, mostly down now. You look at what's going on with the housing market here in Florida, the Gulf Coast, California, the insurance industry, people walking away from their properties down here in Florida because they can't afford to rebuild. People are suing the insurance companies trying to get their insurance benefits. It's insane, guys. So we'll be talking about all that. And then, of course, the sexual marketplace, man, getting out there. It's like, who is still trying to date? Who is out there doing their thing? How are they moving? Right. So we'll be getting into all that. But today we're going to be talking about MAGA and the female vote. We see what's going on with the Latino vote, in particular the Puerto Rican vote. They're really upset with MAGA right now, and women are watching. So is the Trump campaign in danger of losing some of the female vote? Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. We got brother Pablo in the building already. What's good, son? Yeah, man, I'm hearing the same thing. It looks like Nikki Haley has made it, and her team has made it clear to Trump and his team that they are standing by and they're ready to campaign. It's like Team Trump has not taken her up on that offer up until this point. Who knows what's going to happen over the next few days? I would not be surprised if they have, try to get her help probably in North Carolina. Because they are close in North Carolina. It's close in Georgia as well. I mean, hell, all the battleground states it's like really close. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, it's super close. But again, if the election were tomorrow, I would say advantage. I say advantage Harris going into Tuesday election. I really think that damage was done on Sunday night, and I don't know if there's going to be enough time, to fix that. But hey, man, it is what it is. This is why I'm watching this election. You guys know that I'm not Team Harris. I'm not Team Trump. But you know how I feel about having this choice. It's just two horrible choices. But I definitely can't. It's not who I want or who I think is better for the country. Is who of these two, which is the worst of the two evils, or the lesser, I should say, lesser of the two evils. Who is the lesser of the two evils? So That's where I am with it. But I mean, it's just the campaign, like the Trump campaign in the last 10 days was just making some really terrible mistakes, um, in my opinion. Just kind of watching. Like I said, I'm looking at it like a game. It's like I'm in the stands, they on the field playing, and I'm just kind of checking it out, got my popcorn, and I'm just watching. And bro, you want to talk about some missteps. Um, you look at what's going on the Democratic side. Harris and the Democrats were like ecstatic. They're like, wow, that, Puerto Rico stuff, this is great. And then the president, Joe Biden, turns around and calls all of the Trumpers and Republicans and people who support Trump garbage. Now, insane. Like, she can't control what that old man does. You can see that he really isn't there. And then the president comes back and says, well, that's not what I meant to say. What I was trying to say was this, after his handlers told him, like, no, this is what you need to say. People are looking at that. And that's one of those things where, why is he still in the White House? Like, why is he in the White House? Like, I get we're running this race, and I get, come January, there's going to be a new president. But this dude right now, Joe Biden, he's not there. He's just not there. But yet he's still the president of the United States, man. The nuclear football follows him. That guy is still there giving orders. He's the commander-in-chief of the military. He's the leader of the free world, and he can't string 5 words together, y'all. So why is he there? That's a story within itself. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We got Scam Life in the building. Does go well, man. And there it is. Brother Pablo was talking about it right there. He did not help at all. So just when the Democrats thought that they were going to be able to do a little something, here comes President Biden, and he messed it up. And, the Democrats are doing their best to keep him away from the campaign trail, keep him off the campaign trail here in these last 5 days. Brother Dinosaur's in the building. What's good, fam? I didn't see that. Everyone's talking about the garbage truck thing. The thing that got me, like, Trump should not have put on an orange vest, y'all. It was so much orange between him and the vest, man. It broke one of my TVs, man. Like, my TV, I couldn't get the contrast right. The colors were all messed up, bro. He should not have put on an orange vest, bro, at all. Last good man in Jersey's in the building. What's good, fam? But again, like we've been saying all along, since Kamala Harris jumped on this campaign, it is too close to call, right? I mean, that's just where we at. It's too close to call. Going into Tuesday, we'll see. We'll see. I really believe that I think that the Latino vote, in particular the Puerto Rican vote, I think that's going to be massive. I didn't realize this, but apparently within the battle states, scattered amongst all the battleground states, there are like basically 1 million Puerto Ricans, registered Puerto Ricans in all those states. So you look at the 300,000 to 400,000 in Pennsylvania alone. But then throughout the rest of those battleground states, it totals up to about 1 million Puerto Ricans who are registered voters. I'm telling you, that rally on Sunday, you point to that, and like, that is what messed up the election, I think, for Team Trump. There's other people out there watching, like Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly is definitely Republican. I stopped short of calling her a Trumper, but and the reason I stopped short is because she doesn't mind speaking up against Trump. Most of the Trumpers out there, the real hardcore Trumpers, Trump can do no wrong. His campaign can do no wrong. And if you speak against them, they go after you. Megyn Kelly will speak up in a heartbeat. So she's definitely a Republican. She's definitely conservative, deep red. But I stopped short of calling her a Trumper. I could be wrong. You guys tell me what y'all think about that. But she has some words for the campaign, talking about what happened at Madison Square Garden last Sunday night. And we're definitely going to listen to what she had to say. And she kept it real. We're also going to listen to what Nikki Haley has to say on Fox News. And we're also going to review a little bit about how Breaking Points is covering this. Crystal and Saga are all dressed up for Halloween. So we're going to do that as well. My little one just hit me up. My not so little one, she's bored. She's about to go take a walk to the corner store. I remember when we didn't come home until it was dark. But now, my daughter's mostly here. When she comes home from school, I pick her up. She's mostly here. Now she's ready to kind of go venture out on her own. So I'm gonna be listening to what she has going on, but I told her to take the keys. Hopefully she won't drive off in the car, because that would be bad. But I'm pretty sure she's a better driver than most of the people down here in Florida, because people in Florida can't drive. Right? Yeah, I said it. The worst drivers in America, right down here in Florida, bro. All of Florida. People say South Florida's bad, bro. The whole state. The whole state. You know what I mean, brother Dino? Like, yeah, he might not have opened the door by himself, bro. Last good man in Jersey. Like, I think Trump misplayed his hand long before that. He lost the mojo when he started the dogs and cats nonsense. Yeah, they're eating the dogs and eating the cats. I mean, bro, he was in it. Still is. I mean, this race is too close to call. We're not going to have any major polls, I don't think, until after the election. It's going to be exit polls. The next time we get major numbers. I mean, CNN just dropped their latest, and I think their final poll, and that basically had them dead even. And then all the other polls, I think there's not going to be any major ones done between now and election day. So we're just gonna have to sit there and wait. Educated Tyrone in the building. What's good, yeah, they can't drive in Philly or Jersey either, bro. Come down here to Florida, man. You will be surprised. You will be surprised. Yeah, bro. And they played that Byron Donald guy, who elected official down here, the Fort Myers area, I believe. Black guy. He came out to that Dixie song, bro. Dixieland. I wish I was in Dixie away or whatever, that song. You talk about a guy who's all in. That is some. I mean, damn. Yeah, bro. That was some. I didn't see it. Jay Swans watched the whole thing. He was telling me about it. I can't bring myself to sit there and just watch all that. I just can't. This is like not my thing. Like I said, all money ain't good money. But I'm pretty sure that Byron Donald, I think his name is Byron Donald, elected official out of the Fort Myers area. I'm pretty sure that he was made a bunch of promises. And he's showing his loyalty to Trump, not to the Republican Party. Like I said, they're two different things. It's crazy out here, bro. Crazy out here. But, Megyn Kelly, she has some words, man. And like I said, we're going to watch this video. We're going to watch a good chunk of it. She wasn't playing around, bro. Let's listen to what Megyn Kelly has to say.
And he did a great job. I watched all of Trump's remarks, start to finish, and he did a great job. He made great points. He started with exactly the right question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And he went on from there, just nailed it. All of his points. On message, entertaining, great. Trump was not well served by those around him last night. It wasn't a Nazi rally. All that's nonsense. But I'm telling you, even for me, and I voted for Donald Trump last week, it was too brotastic. Okay? It was. You're trying to win an election in which you're hemorrhaging female voters. Maybe when you present in front of hundreds, thousands at least, at Madison Square Garden, you clean up the bro talk just a little so you don't alienate women in the middle of America who are already on the fence about Republicans. Do they have no women advising their campaign? Is there?
Y'all hear her passion, right? Like I said, she's 100. She's deep red. She's team Republican for sure. Y'all hear her passion? Like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Too brotastic. What's up with all this bro talk? Like the campaign is hemorrhaging women. This is coming from Megyn Kelly. She's giving it to them 100. Right? She's telling them the truth. Like, this is what y'all doing. Y'all are hemorrhaging women. You need that vote. You couple that with what just happened with alienating the Latinos, more to the point, the Puerto Ricans. Like, what are you doing? Again, like I said, this is the game. I watched the game. This is what they doing. This is how they get down. This is it.
There's no actual woman sitting behind the scenes, coming up with the guest lineup and saying, let's just have a word with the guys who are going to be speaking about this isn't the bar. This isn't their living room. This is a campaign. This is politics. We're trying to get him elected. We don't need to rally the base or guys anymore. And it's not helpful, even if we do want to rally the base or guys, to go full off color insults to different racial groups and so on. I get it. Trust me, nothing that was said offended me. I'm almost unoffendable. But I understand how this plays, especially with women. And it was an effed up choice.
She couldn't keep it. She couldn't be any clearer. She's talking about how this plays. Remember, this is a game. It's the political game. This is the championship. They're playing for all the marbles. Right now, we are less than we're 5 days to the election. At the time that they had that MSG rally, it was like 9 days to election, 10 days to election, something like that. Hold on, guys. Love you. Be careful. Yeah, my daughter just left. She'll definitely be back. But she's watching the game like everyone else. It's like, what are you doing? She's screaming at the TV and throwing her paper cup at the TV because she just watched the pick six too. Remember what I said? They just threw a pick six. Just doing too much. They throw the pick six. She is so upset. And it's like, like she's like, ain't about being offended or whatever. Like, you're hemorrhaging women and then you're going after other groups that they need to win the election. I'm telling you, man, Puerto Rico is going to make some noise on Tuesday.
They took what was an amazing celebration of Trump, exciting and well-attended and hugely enthusiastic, and gave themselves a big black eye. This isn't about the insane media, which did, of course, what the insane media is going to do. This is about them giving the insane media all these headlines that undermined the main man, Donald Trump, who did exactly what he should have last night. You effed up. Hopefully you'll do better in the closing week of the campaign. That's my take on it.
Look at that. Megyn Kelly gets it down to Marco just for being real with it. She said it. She talking to the campaign. You effed up. You dropped the ball. You messed it up for your dude. Like, we're not in the bar. We're not in the locker room. Why you talking all this nonsense? That's what she said. That's pretty much on point. Right? She ain't lying. She ain't lying. Last good man in Jersey. Right? Like, you're right. He's being disavowed by other Republicans. When that Puerto Rican thing came out, bro, you had Republican senators and elected officials, Congress people, everything, elected officials in states like Florida and Pennsylvania and New York and North Carolina coming out immediately. Like, because they got to get reelected. They came out immediately. This is wrong. Republicans. The Trump campaign itself came out, tried to distance themselves from those remarks that Kill Tony made. But Trump is running around saying, I don't know what's going on. I ain't see it. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know, dude. We brought in the comedian, whatever. I don't know. That's what he's saying. Right? So, not the right move. You got the Catholic Church. You coming out. You got people like there's a reggaeton guy that I never heard of, but he's a MAGA. He was a MAGA guy, but he was big in the MAGA. He is big in the reggaeton world. He just gave Trump his endorsement a month ago, and he rescinded the endorsement today. It was today or yesterday. He rescinded the endorsement. Like, nah, I came back, dude. He's like, I wanted to back dude because I thought he was, that's what we need for the economy. There's a lot of people here hurting. I thought he was going to do a better job of the economy. But I heard what he said about our people, about our island. I can't align myself with a guy like that. That's what this dude came out and said it. A lot of people keep saying, man, this don't mean nothing. The Latino vote, it doesn't mean nothing. Like, okay, that's what y'all think. Okay. All right. You know what I mean? Like if Trump loses Florida, he loses the election. No, if Trump loses Pennsylvania, if the Dems win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Trump loses the race. If the blue wall is intact, they lose the race. Right. And you know, just real quick, I want to show you guys just a real quick map of, give me 1 second. What am I looking for? This could come Trump. Oh, here it is. I want you guys to see this. Right. And this is a map of Puerto Rican population in battleground states, right? So there it is right there. 923,003 Puerto Ricans in swing states, just Puerto Ricans, not Latinos, right? So when you look at Georgia, well, of all 7 of the battleground states, like look at Pennsylvania, 486,115 registered Puerto Rican voters in that state alone. Bro, they're motivated, they're ready to go do something. You look at Michigan, 50,912. They're motivated, they're ready to do something. Wisconsin, I didn't think it was this many Puerto Ricans in Wisconsin, 65,528. The blue wall, as far as this game is concerned, this is all they're worried about. Really, to the point, Pennsylvania. If the Democrats keep Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, they win the race. Florida's not even in it. You know, it really doesn't even matter. Like, if so, now when you look at the other states, like, okay, if the Democrats lose one of the 3 blue wall states, then how can they get there? It's going to be very, very difficult. Well, they have to win North Carolina. They'll have to win Georgia, you know, Arizona, Nevada. So out of the 4, they got to win 3 to get there, which is going to be really difficult. But look at how many Puerto Ricans are in those states. 120,765 registered Puerto Ricans in North Carolina, 116,691 in Georgia. Bro, I just tell folks, I'm like, man, look, man, that Sunday night is bad. And then you add to that women. Like, we're talking about women tonight. I just wanted to show you guys that map. Right? But we're talking about women. Megyn Kelly is a huge surrogate for the Republicans, for the conservatives. She's a mega voice, like, you know, just massive voice. And she's been Team Trump all this time doing her thing. She already said, you know, she's like, I already voted for him, just voted for him, you know, early voting and all that kind of stuff. And listen to what she's saying. She sees it. She's like, bro, she knows this game. This is her sport. She's like, bro, they are messing up. They are messing up. Now, Florida's not a swing state. Well, Florida right now is, they kind of got Florida red, not even purple. But it could change, because it's not just the Puerto Ricans who are mad, it's all of the Latinos. But as far as the battleground states, Florida's not a battleground state. And those are the states that are really that people are looking at. But I do agree, you know, especially down here in Florida, I said this a few days ago, there are a lot of people down here who are really upset. They're not happy with what's going on with the current government, which is Ron DeSantis. The Republicans are running this. There's so many things going on down here in Florida. And more to the point, the insurance thing. So many people are losing their properties and having trouble getting their insurance money. Bro, that could be a thing. But, you know, if Florida were to flip and go blue in this election, it would shock everybody. First of all, I wouldn't be floored by it, because I know people are unhappy. They're frustrated. And whether it's like, well, what can I do? Like, well, go to your polling place and vote for the Democrats, or don't go vote at all. That's another thing. Just don't go vote. I know the Democrats are organized and they've been working really hard. They think they have a shot at being very, very competitive here in Florida. The last cycle, Ron DeSantis, I mean, he just knocked it out the park. He's not going to do it this cycle. But in this election, Florida's not being looked at as a swing state. Not at all. I mean, we got Life of Cash in the building. What's good, fam? It's almost election time. You're right about that, bro. You're right about that. And I'll be voting on Tuesday. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm gonna go on Tuesday. Definitely crunch time. You know, but the Republicans, I don't know if they just believed that they had it in the bag. You know, there was no need. Like, we got this thing. You know, I don't know. what they were thinking. That Madison Square Garden thing was just crazy. It just was crazy. So definitely want to bring up what Nikki Haley had to say about everything. And again, she went at Trump pretty hard, but Republicans get in line. She's standing there waiting and ready to campaign on behalf of Donald Trump in his campaign. And they're not utilizing her. I think that will change over the next 5 days. I think that will change. So, and you're right about that, brother Dino. Like, Nikki bringing the money, not bringing the money that JD Vance could bring. And JD Vance is loyal too. They know that Nikki Haley isn't going to be as loyal. She's a hawk, especially when you're looking at, what's going on overseas. She's definitely a hawk. So there was that, but that would have brought in the female vote. Had they gone with her, that would have brought in the female vote. But it just goes to show you, like, when you run in these elections, man, you got to look at everything. I've worked on a couple campaigns, and like just smaller things, like, local, like citywide. I've done a couple state campaigns, and bro, like, there are people on the campaigns that they really look at the numbers. I mean, they're bean counters. They're there, and every little thing matters. I remember once I was on the campaign. I was a Democrat running, but it was a wealthy Democrat, black, wealthy Democrat, and in a Republican town. Uphill battle, unknown. People just kind of was laughing at her. You'll never, you just wasting your money. And she was working to get the endorsement of the unions. And she had just gotten a bunch of flyers made for the campaign. Like, we have some big flyers, some smaller flyers, and then some signs, like some yard signs and stuff like that. They just, invested a bunch of money, spent a bunch of money to get these things done. So she's trying to get the endorsement of the unions. And then at one of the events where she's speaking in front of the unions, someone from the campaign came in and started passing out flyers. Like, we were setting up, and they put the flyers out there. And these were the non-union flyers. These were the flyers that they got that weren't from a union shop. They didn't have the union bug on there. And I heard people, I was recently out of the Army. It's my first campaign I ever worked. I didn't really know much about politics. I just heard people in the office screaming, they took the ones without the bug, going crazy. Go over there, get those things out of there. You had people scrambling, running over to the event to get these flyers out of there. And I'm, finally I asked one of the big wigs, man, what's this bug thing? What is it? Like, well, when you get stuff done, print work done from a union shop, it'll put on there a little bug, a little icon that says, this made in America, made union, something like that. And I have like the local that made it and all that. I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, we're trying to get union support. And here we are getting work done from non-union shops. Like, bro, if they see that, we're not going to get their support. Luckily, they were able to fix that issue. And she went on actually to win the election. People thought she was wasting her time. She actually went on, and not only did she win, but like she got a lot of the vote. Like, she did extremely well. Everyone underestimated her. You know what I mean? And it was just, just one of those things. It's one of those things. It was a great campaign. I learned a lot. But those people in the office, that's what they do. They sit around and they look at every little thing. Right. And the person I'm talking about is Manette Cooper. Shout out. Well, actually, respect to the dead. We lost Manette some years back, but an amazing woman. I learned so much working for her campaign. She did so much for me. I can't say enough good things about her and her family. So shout out to Manette Cooper and her family. But a Cincinnati legend. But I was able to sit there and watch all that. I saw it go down. So I know that there are serious-minded people on the campaign, and I know how the fighting goes back and forth. It's like, look, we want to use union stuff, but union stuff costs more. We get a better deal going non-union. They're trying to make the dollar stretch, but you got to be smart. And it's the same thing here. I'm pretty sure there are people in the office screaming at the top of their lungs, don't do this. I saw the, let me see this material. Let me see his routine talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this. It's fine. Right. So there are people out there now that is over those same people just mad as hell. And it's sometimes when you're dealing with a campaign in the office of the campaign, they're just idiots. You just stop. Like, you know what? Forget about it. You just go ahead and do what y'all want to do. So long as the check clears, pay me, I'll get my money. Right. And then if you're a volunteer, you just stop showing up because you see it like, man, this is a train wreck. This is going to, end poorly. And that is what's going on. That's what's going on. Yeah, Ted Cruz could be out. Yeah, Ted Cruz running against a former NFL guy, and that race is close in Texas. People are getting tired of Ted Cruz. I haven't watched that campaign at all, just seen the numbers. We'll see. He might eke it out. He just might eke it out. Right. So this thing is so crazy, y'all. This thing is so crazy. And for the Trump campaign to do what they did on Sunday night, I just don't understand why. So I'm not the only one. Let's listen to what Nikki had to say about all that, right? So here we go.
Need to do what they need to do to get across the finish line. I just think that they need to focus primarily on who it is they're talking to. You've got Americans who are absolutely going to vote for Trump. You've got Americans who are absolutely not going to vote for Trump. And then you've got a percentage in the middle who like Trump policies but don't like his style. That is what they need to focus on. So when you look at these things, it has got to be a story of addition. This is not a time to have anyone criticize Puerto Rico or Latinos. This is not a time for them to get overly masculine with this bromance thing that they've got going. 53% of the electorate are women.
Right? She's saying the same thing that Megyn Kelly was saying. She's just saying it a little nicer. And you heard what she said. There's a certain percentage of the electorate that's going to vote for Trump, and there's a certain percentage of the electorate that's going to vote against Trump. I agree with her. There's not a lot of people out there excited about Kamala Harris. They're just not. They're voting against Donald Trump. Makes sense. I always say 45%, 45%. You got that 10% in the middle. Those are the votes that you're fighting for. The Trump campaign continuously goes and does these rallies to appease their base. Their base is not going anywhere. That's the 45% that are going to vote for you no matter what. So you shouldn't be dealing with them like that. You should be getting those fence sitters. Like she just said, there are people out there who like what they saw policy-wise or how the country was moving under Trump last time, but they don't like it when he talks. They don't like the way he, presents himself and all that. Those are the people that they need to be trying to capture. They watch that Madison Square Garden thing, and they're like, all right, man, not gonna do it. That doesn't mean they're gonna go vote Democrat. It just means they're not gonna vote. Right? For those people who are like hardcore Republicans, like, I'm not gonna go vote Democrat. You got some Republicans out there, of the old school Republicans, who are so mad that they're working with Kamala Harris. Like, you look at the Bushes and the Cheneys and stuff like that. You haven't seen any of the old school Republicans doing any of the MAGA stuff. Bro, they need every single vote. I really think it's now advantage Harris, just because of what they're doing. Let's continue.
Women will vote. They care about how they're being talked to, and they care about the issues. They need to remember that. This is a time of discipline, and this is a time of addition.
You mentioned the Madison Square Garden event. The former president addressed that today. Take a listen.
Madison Square Garden.
He went on, Trump went on to say it was a love fest and all that. Like Megyn Kelly said, he hit his talking points just fine. But it was everyone else that was talking what they were talking, bro. Talking about black folks, talking about Puerto Ricans, right? Talking about Latinos, right? Coming off in such a tone that is turning women off. That was the problem.
The love in that room. Somebody said there was a comedian that joked about Puerto Rico or something, and I have no idea who it was. Never saw him, never heard of him, and don't want to hear of him.
You know how many Puerto Rican voters there are in Pennsylvania? 273,000. This is going to cost him votes, and a substantial Puerto Rican vote, also in Michigan.
See, all of the political gamers, all the people who sit back watching this thing are all saying the exact same stuff. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Trump had Sean Hannity gave Trump an opportunity to say, hey man, I don't rock with that. I don't know who that is. What he said about Puerto Rico was wrong. Trump could have said that, but they're on that never apologize stuff. Okay. Right. Okay. Don't apologize then. But look at what this is doing to your campaign. If Trump had came out right away, like say Monday morning or sometime Monday, and said, oh man, they brought this to my attention. That was horrible. I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. Just throw Tony Hinchcliffe under the bus. Had he done that, like, bro, it probably be like, okay, maybe advantage Trump. But to go ahead and not do that and think that, oh, this is all going to blow over, which is probably someone in his campaign in the office is saying, oh, don't worry about it. It's going to blow over. Nah, this ain't going to blow over, bro. This ain't going to blow over at all.
Do you think that moves the needle?
I think it's harmful. I mean, look, there's no reason to have a comedian at an election campaign event that had so much energy and so many good issues. Why have a comedian that separates people? This isn't about people being sensitive. I mean, Puerto Ricans, that's personal for them. They take that personally. So they were right to denounce the comedian. They need to go and tell Puerto Ricans how much, they do value them. They need to tell Latinos that, but they also need to look at how they're talking about women. I mean, this bromance and this masculinity stuff, I mean, it borders on edgy to the point that it's going to make women uncomfortable. You've got affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women. That is not the way to win people who are concerned about Trump style. This is a time to talk about the economy. This is the time to talk about immigration. This is the time to talk about national security. And this is the time to talk about Kamala Harris. Let's be clear. The one choice she had, Brett, she didn't choose the moderate Democrat and Josh Shapiro. She didn't choose someone who was pro-Israel and pro-fracking like Josh Shapiro. She chose a very liberal vice presidential candidate like Tim Walz, who literally raised taxes when he had an $18 billion surplus in his state. She chose someone who...
And she makes good points, but no one's talking about that. And no one's going to talk about that. Brother Michael's in the building. It was good, friend. Yeah, I want to see what's up with that spiteful young dude vote. We're going to talk about that on Saturday. I want to talk about, that's going to be like the last thing we talk about. Of course, we're going to have that town hall show, but I do want to talk about that voting block. I think that voting block moving forward, not so much in this election, but moving forward, in 28 and in 30, I think that voting block is going to be massive. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the red pill world and the manosphere and politics. And I really think that there's an opportunity to get that voting block, active and in play, and that can really change things up for men. Trust me, both the Republicans and the Democrats are looking at that voting block. They see the shift. The Democrats see that all these young guys are left, and then you got the men who are, shifting to the right. They're going to want to do something about that moving forward. But Nikki was correct. Everything she said was spot on. Everything she said was spot on. Now I was watching Breaking Points, and they were talking about Nikki Haley and Megyn Kelly, and I think that I think we should check that out. I like Crystal and I like Sager, and the stuff that they were bringing up made a lot of sense. So we'll kind of land on this and listen to what they have to say, because they do bring up some good points. And as we get closer and closer to Tuesday, Sager gets more and more frustrated. He gets frustrated because he's center right and she's center left. I think it's funny. But let's check this out, guys. Again, this is Breaking Points.
Garden, and there's been quite a lot of discussion there about
the origin
MSG,
of Garbage Gate.
Garbage Gate, that's right. I like that. Puerto Rico Gate. You could also call Hinchcliffe Gate. You could take it back as far as you want. So we've got a couple of Republicans, actually, who came out to criticize. First was Nikki Haley, who took to Fox News to critique the Trump campaign. Let's take a listen.
They were right to denounce the comedian. They need to go and tell Puerto Ricans how much, they do value them. They need to tell Latinos that, but they also need to look at how they're talking about women. I mean, this bromance and this masculinity stuff, I mean, it borders on edgy to the point that it's going to make women uncomfortable. You've got affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women. That is not the way to win people who are concerned about Trump style. This is a time to talk about the economy. This is the time to talk about immigration. This is the time to talk about national security. And this is the time to talk about Kamala Harris.
So you could see there. I mean, my take actually, Crystal, was I think she's betting on a Trump loss. That's my guess from this clip, because I actually spoke to some others. People who are concerned but who are your friend and they want to help you win, they call you behind the scenes, right? They don't want to give the other side ammunition.
Yeah.
But when you're betting on a loss, you take to the TV and you're like, well, they need to do a better job reaching out to women and this and this. But of course, I still want him to win because I'm working on policy, trying to cover her bases. This seemed like a soft 2028 launch, just from what I could tell. She's not a commentator. She's a politician, right?
Mm-hmm.
She also she's been rejected by the Trump campaign effectively, will not campaign with him, it looks like, up until Election Day. They previously had thought that they might, but there's still quite a bit of bad blood between the two camps. So there's quite a bit of jockeying that's also happening in this clip.
Yeah, I think
That's an interesting point. Like, she's looking at it again. Everyone's watching the same game, and she's like, "Yeah, dude just lost this game." So she comes out in public, says what she says, and now, like to Sagar's point, she is setting the stage for 2028. There might be something to that. That might be the play for her. That might be the play. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If she were running for president right now, that's where I'd be leaning. I'd be leaning towards Nikki Haley. Now, there's some stuff out there that she's done that I'm not cool with, but against Kamala Harris, in this particular election, I definitely would have been looking towards Nikki, but she's not in it. I think Saga's under something. That's a really good point. She's like, look, they just blew this game. Right? She saw what I saw. Oh, Sunday night, they just threw the pick six. So let me go ahead. Because if she really was a friend, she would have gotten on the phone and she would have talked to whoever's running that campaign and said what she had to say. And like, hey, what can we do to help you clean this up? Right? She didn't do that. And she's on her talking points. She's not on Republican talking points right now. She's on her talking points. She wasn't talking about Joe Biden and garbage and all that kind of stuff. She's talking about what Nikki Haley wants to talk about. I think Sager's right. I think he's right. He's like, y'all will vote for Andrew Tate to run for president. A lot of dudes would vote for someone like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a U.S. citizen. Andrew Tate could run for president. I wouldn't necessarily vote for an Andrew Tate. I just wouldn't, because like, bro, he didn't grow up over here. I don't know where, like, is he more British than American? I mean, it's about where you grew up. Tate for prime minister of UK, he'll probably do really well over there. But over here, no one knows Tate, and what they know about Tate is negative. So I don't agree with you, bro. But yeah, you got the manosphere and all that. Yeah, they'll go for popular people or whatever. But if it's done correctly, and you educate young dudes, you educate men in general, get them up to speed on stuff. Because my thing is this: if we're gonna get men really involved in politics, let's just work on male issues. Let's get candidates who are for male issues, and then just go play the game, play the political game. Like, oh, if y'all want our support on that over there, on that initiative, then y'all need to support our initiative over here, right? Watch what happens with the Puerto Rican vote and the Latino vote. If in fact it turns out that there was a groundswell at the last second and the Puerto Ricans pushed the Democrats over the finish line in the blue states, the blue wall states, if that happens, bro, they're gonna get all kind of love. Democrats going to be running to the Puerto Ricans into the Latin demographic, and the Republicans will too, because they're going to look at that like, oh my goodness, those they're organized. The thing about politics, bro, all they care is that you're organized and you can get that vote out. If you can get the vote out, people going to come holler at you. Simple as that. If you can get the vote out, if you can motivate the black vote, the African American vote, bro, you're gonna win. It's just the thing is, we don't get nothing on the back end. Like we fall apart when it's over because we don't help the other side. I think if the black vote were to use that power and push different, push the Republicans over the line sometimes, push the Democrats over the line sometimes. Can't do that, of course, with Donald Trump, although people keep saying that, black men are coming out for Trump in big numbers. Nah, nah, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure 85% of the vote at least is going to be with the Democrats like it always is. But if you get a viable Republican candidate and then the black community comes out in a decent shift to push them over the finish line, then yeah, those Republicans are going to come and help you with policies that are going to improve the black community. That's what's going to happen with the black community. I'm here to tell you. They're going to be looking at this and I'm like, wow, when this is all said and done, they're going to, like, the Latino community and particularly the Puerto Ricans, push the Democrats over the line and they're going to get, they're going to be rewarded for it on the other side.
The comments are accurate, but they're also motivated because it's not just her positioning herself for what comes next, and she fancies herself potentially the next Republican contender, which I think is a little delusional, but whatever. That's how she's thinking, and she also is bitter because to your point about you call him behind the scenes, he's not picking up those calls.
Yeah, that's right.
She has made herself available to go campaign for him, and he's like, no. And in fact, when he and I think this is foolish, by the way, on his part. Because clearly the Kamala campaign thinks, whether they're right about this or not, there's a possibility that they're right about it, that there are some of those Nikki Haley primary voters who are potential persuadable targets for them. They have made a very concerted effort. That's like the bulk of their campaign is a concerted effort to reach out to those voters. And recently when Trump was asked about Nikki Haley on, I don't know, Fox and Friends or something, rather than trying to appeal to them, he trashes Nikki Haley and brags about how much he beat her by, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is just Trump and the way he operates, and his ego always comes first, even when it's totally inadvisable from any sort of a rational campaign perspective. Like, what would it hurt you to have her come and be on the stage with you? She's willing to do it, et cetera. It's certainly not going to be a loss, and potentially it's a gain for you, but that's just not in him to do. So I think Nikki Haley is right fundamentally in her comments. We'll play the Megyn Kelly comments in a moment, which are very similar. She had a very similar take. You had Tommy Lahren earlier on critical of some of the lack of outreach to women. And, it really they have actually primarily turned it into a real battle of the sexes kind of a vibe. And we've done a lot of scrutiny. There's been a lot of conversation about Kamala Harris needing to do better with men. She had that hot mic moment with Gretchen Whitmer, et cetera, et cetera. And you see them trying to make some efforts. You see her going on with, Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. You see her going on The Shade Room and some of these more male dominated podcasts. You don't really see equivalent outreach from the Trump side. He didn't go on with Brene Brown or whoever and Kamala did, by the way, some more female dominated spaces. Instead, they've just consistently leaned into the camp masculinity theme that you saw at the RNC and that you certainly saw at Madison Square Garden, Hulk Hogan, Dana White, that whole sense. And so you have a few women in the party at least saying, and now actually Cernovich and Charlie Kirk as well saying, this might be a little bit of an issue.
They're talking about
they're talking about Donald Trump going out there and talking to, female personalities, getting on those podcasts or, doing that. I'm pretty sure his campaign was like, nah, that would be a train wreck. It's just like the Harris campaign, keeping her away from Joe Rogan and cherry picking what podcasts and what interviews she take in mainstream media. She's just not doing well in these interviews. So they want to keep her away. Because there's always going to be a clippable moment that's going to make her look bad. And that's the same thing on the Trump side. Like, nah, don't sit Trump down with these women because he's definitely going to say something wrong. And it's just going to go off the rails. I understand that. But they should have had more females. I don't know if they had any females on stage at that MSG rally. I don't know if they did. I mean, I know his wife came out there and I wonder how much money they had to pay her to come out there and allow him to give her a kiss on her cheeks. These cheeks. She was up there like a statue. And they must have paid her a fortune to get her to come out there. But she did it. We got Brother D-Mac in the building. What's good? For the Asian chick based on a couple things she finally addressed. Yeah, man. I mean, it's people out there who are, there are various reasons as to why they're gonna, go from one candidate or the other. Obviously, it looks like she came across with some things that you needed to hear, and you're like, okay, and that's the way you went. It is what it is. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at people who vote for Trump. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. I understand why wealthy people will want to vote for Trump. I really do. If you're in the top 15% of wage earners in this country, I understand why you would vote for Trump or any Republican for that matter, because you're going to get money on the back end. You're going to get, some benefits from that. And then if you're people out here who are struggling, I understand why you would want to vote for the Democrat, because that's where the programs are. That's where all that extra money is going to come. So I get it. And then Brother Michael, bro, it was so much money being bet on Trump winning this race, man. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a lot of payouts. There's going to be people out here who bet against Trump winning this race. I mean, it was like, at one point it was as high as 3-1. They were giving you 3-1 odds. I'm like, bro, I'm taking Harrison the under, bro. So it's just one of those things. And as far as MAGA, bro, I think MAGA goes away after this cycle, no matter what. If Trump wins, it's 4 more years and then he's gone. When Trump goes, MAGA goes. Right? When's the last time anybody talked about the Tea Party guys? Right? Remember them? If Trump loses this election, I was talking to Jay Swansea, like, yeah, it'll be like 90 days of just madness, and then boom, it's over. MAGA's done. There is no one waiting in the wings. Donald Trump is the only one that could have done what he did. There's no one else. It's not like he's going to anoint J.D. Vance or he's going to anoint Vivek. There's only one Donald Trump. He's one of one. That's it. Like, either way, this is over. So, and then the Republicans are a fight to take their party back, and then they're gonna try to open up their tent, and they're gonna really try to get minorities in there. Like I said, they're gonna go after the Latinos, try to get them involved. They're gonna go after the African Americans, try to get them involved. They're gonna go after young men. On the other side of this election, you're gonna see all that, because it's a wrap, bro. And here's another thing too. I'm pretty sure that the Democrats are gonna win the popular vote. Still too close to call. You don't know. Crystal brings this up all the time on Breaking Points. It would be hilarious if Donald Trump finally wins the popular vote but loses the Electoral College. It'll be crazy. Brother Cash is like a great question. I saw about 7 or 8 MSG speakers from Tucker Carlson to Tony, but I recall seeing 0 women. Yeah, man. I don't think they had it. And that's where Nikki Haley and all these other women are saying, like, bro, I ain't have a single woman up there. Way too much testosterone, way too much. Again, women see stuff like this and it'll turn them off, man. Like, it's just like, they're like, man, I wanted to be with those people, but gosh, did y'all see that? It'll turn them off, bro. You know what I mean? It'll turn them off. And I think on the other side of this, bro, like, I don't think that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is a good choice. You guys know that. The next 4 years are going to be so difficult. It's going to be so difficult in America with the economy, with housing, with the insurance stuff. You're going to see like the real numbers start to come out. No more manipulating the numbers. I think it's going to be really difficult moving forward for the country. Right. So, I've talked to my Republican friends. I talked to my Democratic friends. My Democratic friends, like the heavy hitters, they all say the same thing. They're like, man, we hope Trump wins, because the next 4 years are going to be so bad. There's no way he's got any answers for what we're about to face here, and it'll serve him right. But at the same time, so many Americans are going to be devastated. It's like, we need someone in there. So, I think the Democrats are like, man, it would be nice for Trump to win just so he can fall on his face. But for him to fail means America fails. And they're like, we don't want that. So we got to get Harris in there. But she doesn't have any answers either. I'm with you. GOP is going to struggle post-Trump. There's going to be definitely some opportunities there. We got Casual Germany building with the $10 super chat, man. Appreciate you, bro. It's like supporting the show, man. Thank you. Spending my Halloween doing security or trick or treaters. Salute to you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate the $10, man. Thank you. I really do. And I appreciate you guys, liking and subscribing and sharing and all that good stuff, man. I really appreciate y'all. because these are good conversations. You know, I do enjoy talking about, you know, the sexual marketplace, and I do enjoy trying to help dudes get over the anxiety, like approach anxiety, and helping guys get their game together and helping them get their fashion sense up and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I really like that. But this is very important. And, you know, what I really like to stress, you know, when I had these conversations is, hey, bro, doesn't matter. The president is not going to be able to stop. Whoever the president is going to be in January, they're not going to be able to stop what's coming. We got some problems. And if the Republicans and the Democrats refuse to work with each other in Congress, these problems are only going to get worse. They're going to fester. They're going to linger. And people are just going to suffer. Right? We're just going to suffer. Like, just look at this. Look at what's going on. Companies are laying off. Companies are outright firing folks. They're trying to find ways to fire folks. If you don't come back to the office, we're going to fire you, right? They're coming back to the office. Banks are trying to figure out what's going on. Interest rates have been going up. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but interest rates have been inching up. The banks are up in the interest rates, even though the Fed lowered the Fed rate. So, you know, what's Jerome Powell going to do? He's going to come in. Is he going to bottom out the interest rates again? Is inflation going to get out of control? You know, people are dealing with FEMA. They got this 50% thing, you know, as far as getting help from FEMA to rebuild their homes. There are problems out here, bro. And we're talking about just in America. So it's just people think like, oh, we're going to vote for this candidate, whoever that candidate is, and they're just going to go and everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be magically be fixed. Nah. Like we still got to take the ship into the storm. Right? We still got so much work to do. And if the elected officials don't work with one another, it's going to hurt that much more. That's the end of the day. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Like I said, I'm looking at this race and I'm like, you know, it's entertaining. It's, you know, I'm watching the game, but I know that on the other side of this, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Now, with all that said, there's going to be opportunity because there's definitely going to be blood in the streets. There's going to be people out there making all kind of money. They're doing it right now. You can come down here to Florida, Central Florida, Clearwater, St. Pete area, and you can get you a place right now as is on the water. You can just get there. There are people out there that drop their ass $200,000, $200,000 off as is. You can have it. Someone was telling me he saw a property for $40,000, right? But you had to knock down the existing building and all that. Right. So you're probably looking at $200,000-300,000 in construction work and all that with the demo and everything. But did you hear what I said? Like the numbers are crazy right now. It's just starting. It's just starting. Right. And wait till y'all see how these unemployment numbers go up. It's crazy, bro. Trump will try to declare victory on election night, but it doesn't matter. Pennsylvania is the key. If Trump does not win Pennsylvania, it's a wrap. If the Democrats hold the blue wall, it's over. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. It's over. And the way it looks now, the Democrats might hold the blue wall and get North Carolina. Like icing on the cake. But again, it doesn't matter on the other side. You know what I mean? It's like if I had to bet the house, it would say the Asian chick will win. D-Mac, you killing me with the Asian thing. That's so funny, bro. Like if I had to bet the house, I'd say the Asian chick won. Well, the Asian chick was at Freaknik and Aggie Fest and all that, bro. Like I said, I probably bumped into her cuteness back in the day and just don't even remember it. It's like she has answers, you just might not like them. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. It's crazy. Let's listen to what Crystal has to say.
Vote, right?
Yeah, so but the downstream of the approach.
This is where I'm like, I don't think that she's necessarily right. Like in terms of what did she say in terms of like, this is not the way to win women. I mean, that also presumes like, what is the correct way to quote unquote win women? Like that just seems like a very, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a comment that is directed at any reality. If we look at quote unquote women voters, they're voting on the issue of abortion. You can't win on the issue of abortion. Your best case scenario is to win men, drive up the margin, and then just hope that married women come along as they have in the past, I think in 2016 and in 2020, to make sure that you don't get drowned out. That's part of the reason that I think, didn't you reference those ads where it's like women, it's okay to lie to your husband or whatever, which is, by the way, psychotic and weird. If you're in a marriage where you have to lie to your husband or your wife
not
about
a
who
good
you're
vibe
voting
for your marriage.
you got to get out. All right, let me just tell you that right now.
I saw a tweet about this too,
Yeah.
where a woman was saying like who knows if this is even accurate, but that like every 4 years it's held because her husband's a big Trump supporter and
Right.
she's not, and he was like, so where are you gonna move if Trump wins again? I'm like, what kind of a marriage
Lady,
is this? Jesus Christ.
To her, get out. To him, you're a loser.
Psycho. Total
You're a
psycho.
loser. And
But-
vice versa. If you're berating your husband or whatever, you're also a loser.
I just would say, and then we'll play the Megyn Kelly comments and get her take on this as well. Nikki Haley referenced the fact that, you know, you had multiple sort of like sexually lewd jokes made at Kamala Harris's expense. You had the other joke from Tony Hinchcliffe that we haven't even played is about like, you know, Latinos coming inside and
Bro, you know, when Crystal said that, now Crystal, they both dressed up for Halloween. Tiger's dressed up as Count Dracula with his white face on. Hilarious. He said he bought that tuxedo for his wedding. He was like, the only reason he bought that tuxedo is because he was going to wear it every year on Halloween as Count Dracula. So that's why he's doing it. Crystal decided to dress up as that Australian hip hop dancer lady. So when they started the show, she actually was like dancing around hip hop wise or whatever. Look, Crystal got body, y'all. Like she's that girl next door, fine. You know, she's married or whatever. She's got a child. I think it's like a young child. But she's fine. So, you know, it's some weirdos that's like watching her. And then they just heard her say, come inside. They probably just blew their wad right there. Like, oh, she just said, come inside. Back that up. Which is crazy. I just wanted to throw that out real quick because I was like, whew. But yo, D-Mac, you're right. You know, Kamala and the Kamala administration is talking about flooding the housing market with housing. They want to build all these houses. So they're basically saying that they're going to find money they can throw at builders to get them to build houses. And they're probably going to try to put that housing in high density places, urban areas where it could, do the most help. Most help. And we're talking about, first time single family homes, like make them affordable. The problem is it costs so much. So that's going to take money that we don't have, but I'm with you on that. And that's a good long-term plan, but in the short term, it's going to hurt. It takes time to build them. We're talking, millions and millions of homes, and you're kind of guaranteeing the builder. So they're going to run the rates up. But that's what she's talking about. I mean, it makes sense. You just got to see what she does. Like at least they have a plan. With Team Trump, you just don't know what they're going to do. But at least they have a plan. They're trying to figure it out. I think that Congress wants to get hedge funds out of the single family home because hedge funds are buying a lot of them up. At least that's the story. When you look at the numbers, they're not buying as much as people think. You would think that that Wall Street and the hedge fund guys are buying up 85-90% of the available homes out there. It's not that much, but it's enough. And it's they're not buying these McMansion homes. They're buying the 3-2s and all that, these starter homes, and they're forcing people to rent them. So I think Congress wants to get corporations out of that. That's going to be one of the things that they're going to be trying to do. But no matter what happens, the Dems and the Republicans are going to have to work together because the recession is definitely coming. Like what Life of Cash is saying, wait till you see the jobs report that comes out tomorrow. Wait till you see the revision afterward. We're certainly, no matter who takes the helm, the recession is going to be a thing. There's no more denying it. Once the election is over, oh yeah, America's in recession. Oh, look at our jobs report. Oh, look at our GDP. Look at this. Look at that. And it is what it is. It's going to take work. It's going to take work. I'm definitely waiting on the price drops, bro. Bro, I'm just looking at the chat, man. Y'all got some fire comments in the chat, bro. Yeah, $25,000 for new home buyers for their down payment. Where's that money going to come from? These are great ideas, but it's like, where's the money going to come from? If they print the money, it's going to force inflation to shoot up. And the only way to do that, you're going to need money to help the builders build the housing that you need. You're going to need money to give people, the $25,000 so they can get into their first home. The $50,000 tax credit for entrepreneurs. I definitely want that one. So there's, you're looking for, they're trying to do everything they can to get these prices to drop, but the prices are stubbornly high. They're staying up there. Interest rates are still staying up there. And Americans just aren't making money, right? So this is definitely going to be, this is definitely going to be a thing. America America got, some trouble ahead. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out. And you look down, like down here in Florida, like prior to the storms, like the average home in Florida was like $400,000 for the median home in Florida. The median income in Florida, the median household income in Florida was less than $90,000. So how in the hell are you going to get into a house when the average, the median house is like 400 grand? Starter homes around, like a condo, like not even a condo, a townhouse, you're looking at 300,000, between 275 and 325. Bro, no one can afford this stuff. Based Oracle in the building. Yeah, he's like, the D's and R's will definitely work together, profiteering and destroying America. Hey man, the 1% is, they're gonna get that money. Greed is a problem. Like, greed is absolutely the problem. If they don't get that under control, we're gonna lose America. And it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It is what it is. So people need to really pay attention to not, it doesn't really matter who's in the White House. You really need to be, looking at what's going on local, where you are, like who's taking care of stuff in your city, in your county, in your state. That's what you need to be looking at. But DC plays a big role in a whole bunch of stuff, but that's what we need to be looking at. But we'll see. We'll see. And as far as refis go, man, refis are way down. Refis, no one's really able to refi and get the interest rate that they already have. So people can't get money out of their houses anymore. Again, it's the money's drying up, guys. Like, the money is drying up. Like, it is what it is. The money's drying up. People just can't get the loans that they need. And then we haven't even talked about cars. We haven't talked about childcare. We haven't talked about medical care. Americans can't afford to live here anymore. Something needs to be done. Now, the question is, what's going to get done? What's going to get done? And again, it doesn't matter who is in the White House for that sort of stuff. You look at, well, it does matter who's in the White House. I take that back. It does matter. Their policies that kind of go a different way, especially when it comes to healthcare. Like who's the Speaker of the House was saying that they want to do away with the Affordable Care Act. Right? He kind of, he misspoke or whatever. They caught him. He said it and he tried to walk it back. And he's like, no, Donald Trump is not trying to do that. Bro, if the greed doesn't stop, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And look, Brother Dino with the numbers, man, 574,000 single family homes. Wow. So I know that Congress were working on that. They wanted to do some things. They wanted to limit the amount of money that these corporations and hedge funds can make off of that, because, that's how Americans get the buy-in. Buying your house. That's normally the buy-in in America. And if you can't get that, you can't get that. All right. So let's get back to let's see what Crystal has to say.
You have Elon Musk's super PAC literally running an ad insinuating Kamala Harris is the C word. So, certainly there are some women that are just voting on abortion. That's it. They're not going to change their mind. It's done. It's over. There's nothing they can say about it. But there also are some normie, and I know some of these women, normie, like previously voted Republican women who the tone is and the crassness is a problem, where they're not particularly like ideologically or issue focused. And so when that's the entire vibe of the campaign, in the same way, I think that Democrats at times, with like all the talk about toxic masculinity, et cetera, have put out the vibe of like, this is just not really a place for you if you're, a white dude, bro. That's the vibe that women are getting from these events of like, this is just not really a place for me. Like, this is not, you're not putting out welcoming vibes. And I'm put off by, the quote unquote locker room talk is really not for me. It's in a locker room with other men. That's the reason why it's quote unquote locker room talk.
But he did win white women in 2016, That's why I always come back to it. He actually did win.
But that's one of the groups that's been edging away from him.
Sure.
And there's very real positive. Most of the polling suggests that Kamala Harris is in position to potentially win white women this time around. And certainly she's banking on, she's betting on suburban women, which would be, you know, the type of people that Nikki Haley is most in touch with and is thinking about with these comments. Just to show you, like, you know, also Megyn Kelly, who's also very, you know, very strong Trump supporter, certainly this time around. She also had some similar concerns about the tone of the MSG rally. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
And we saw what Megyn Kelly had to say. I'm gonna fast forward in a second, but when you look at what happened with the Puerto Rican vote on Sunday night, and more to the point, the Latino vote, and then you add to that what they're saying about women being turned off by this message, bro, that's more on their own, right? The Latino vote on its own is enough to swing this election, and the female vote on its own is enough to swing this election. And you're gonna smash them together, bro. I'm telling you, they threw the pick six. You know, it is what it is. They threw the pick six, right? You know, we heard what Megyn had to say. She like they effed up. I played the whole thing. They only played a quick little clip. But like it is what it is.
With women, and it was an effed up choice.
I do love how it's never Trump's fault. It's always he's failed by he can never fail. He's failed by the people around him.
I'm not sure I agree with her. Honestly, I think the base strategy is the one that works. I mean, women are college-educated women, or the Kamala base. That's who they're going after. Liz Cheney, all that. Bros are basically the Republican base. Gen Z split amongst men. That's what you need. Now, look,
It's
Ryan's
all on the
tweet.
margins, though.
But Ryan's
that's
tweet
the
that
thing,
you
it's
read.
all around the margins.
Ryan's tweet that you read is accurate, and it is one where it could be scary, right?
Should I read it again since there was a different segment? Go ahead, keep talking. I'll pull it
I
up.
can find it. Yeah, it's something about like dudes don't have the capacity,
The
to,
organizational
like, show up on
capacity.
time
He
and
says,
all of
I
that.
love my dudes, but
Yeah.
if there is a nationwide contest between men and women that goes to the group that manages to show up at the right place, fill out their forms on time, and do all those things, the men would need to start with an advantage of several million to be competitive. Don't come at me. Those are Ryan Grimm's words. You can take it out.
And dude got a point. Men are thinking about other stuff. I mean, it is what it is. It takes organization skills at the highest level to get out the vote. Politics is hard when it comes to getting people to come out and vote. It is what it is. Brother Pablo, you're right about the national debt, and that's going to continue to grow. This is the problem. It can only get so high. This is the problem. This is the absolute problem. We got old Joe in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming through, man. I always appreciate you, man. It's always good to see you. Who are you predicting, DL Saint? Man, like I said, I think after Sunday, the MSG rally Sunday, it's advantage Harris. And I think that what Team Trump did to upset the Puerto Ricans, I think that cost him the race. And then you're looking at these women who are being turned off by this, extreme male, bro talk. They're getting, like what they're talking about here, that's definitely a thing. But I didn't realize how many Puerto Ricans were living in the swing states, in particular Pennsylvania. It's just the numbers I'm hearing anywhere from 200 to 400,000 registered voters, Puerto Rican voters. There's a map. Here it is right here. I think Donald Trump is going to lose this race, and I think he's going to lose this race because of what they said about Puerto Rico at his rally. In Pennsylvania, there's 486,115 registered Puerto Ricans. Michigan, 50,912. Wisconsin, 65,528. They're all on the same page. They're all really upset about what was said. Donald Trump, as you know, doesn't apologize for anything. So with all that taken into consideration, I think it's a very real possibility that the blue wall goes to the Democrats and they win the White House. And then North Carolina, like I said, they might win North Carolina, like insult to injury, just icing on the cake as well, and Nevada. So, it is what it is. But I think it's gonna be Trump. You know what I mean? Apathy hits hard, bro. I hear you. So I think it's gonna be Trump. But let's continue.
Up with him. I'm not being sexy.
I think Trump's gonna lose. That's my bad. I'm trying to do too much and my mind is racing. So for the record, I think Trump is going to lose the election. He's going to lose the blue wall. And I think it's because of what they said about the Puerto Ricans. There it is right there. There it is. Clip that. Here we go.
just against men.
That's fair. It's just one of those where I think that this is a base turnout election. I don't think that this is necessarily like, look, you're right. You know, everything with margins, etc. But if you run up your margin with men enough, then that actually is one that goes to the Trump campaign strategy. They just think that they're literally not winnable. And I honestly think they're probably correct at this point. Like, we're so bifurcated in terms of also the issue set that we look at for men and women are completely at odds. Immigration and the economy way higher for men. And for women, abortion is just so sky high. Like, what can you possibly say as a Republican to win that type of voter over? I mean, tone is really not going to cover. Maybe I am totally wrong. Okay, I might be. That said, the data tells us that if you drive up the margin with men, you will still get a substantial portion of married conservative women to come with you. That's enough to win the election. You don't necessarily have to win. You know, like single ladies are voting for Trump at like for Kamala at like a 40-something% margin. It's crazy if you look at it. I mean, by the way, anthropologically, none of this is good, but that's a separate story. Like, if you're purely trying to win, that's what I would do.
Massive divide between college-educated women and non-college-educated men.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, the numbers are what they are in terms of every election, women vote more than men.
That's
so
true.
If you're going to pick one side, you know, but Ryan's comments, putting Ryan's comments aside, if you're going to pick one side of the battle of the sexes to be on, just based on the fact that women always vote at higher rates than men, you would want to be on the side of women. So listen, how much is, I don't know. I mean, you're right. Like, the Trump space is so locked in, people, but we're talking about a game of inches. So if you have some people who are on the fence, reminding them of everything that comes with Trump, and, you know, there are a lot of like normie women out there, normie people in general, who are just like, oh, you know, this is just gross. I don't know. I do think her point too about he doesn't have any. Well, he does. Susie Wiles on the campaign.
Yeah, she's literally the number 2 on the campaign.
So I mean, there are women's voices that are in there, but clearly, whereas the Kamala team has really tried to minimize their losses with men and try to keep as many, especially Black and brown men, in the tent as they possibly can. There has not been similar outreach from the Trump campaign. And you're right that it is consistent with 2 different strategies. The Kamala strategy, if you look at the ad campaign that's been run, if you look at the Liz Cheney outreach and all this stuff, it has really been an attempt at persuasion. And the Trump campaign has been very much an attempt at like, let's get some of these infrequent voters out. Let's drive up turnout in the base. And like I said, you see that in closing ads where the Trump campaign's going all in on these like culture war issues. The Kamala campaign is featuring a lot of former Republicans who are voting for her, and they're doing like more of a class war. He's a billionaire, he's not for you, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I guess that's the bet that both campaigns are placing. We'll see. We're going to see soon how it works out.
Let's stick with the MSG theme. There was some more quote unquote fallout. Here we have Nikki Jam. He's a reggaeton star. He's half.
So this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the reggaeton star who took back their endorsement of Trump. Check this out, guys.
Puerto Rican. He has now withdrawn his endorsement of Donald Trump. He said he thought Trump would be good for the economy, but he cannot look past the disrespect that has now been shown to Puerto Rico. So I don't know. I mean, everyone thinks that this stuff will be consequential. They're like, oh, Bad Bunny has endorsed Kamala. Again, I have no idea. I find it very difficult to believe that if you're a Puerto Rican who is going to vote for Trump, that because Tony Hinchcliffe at a Trump rally made a joke about Puerto Rico, that is enough for you to switch your vote. Maybe it's enough for Nikki Jam. It just seems a little weird to me, especially if you.
It doesn't seem weird to me. This is where I disagree with Sagar. Because here's the thing. Let's say that everyone prior to that Madison Square Gardens thing, all the Puerto Ricans still going to vote the way we're going to vote, right? Prior to that misstep, right? Let's just say that. But there's so much outrage that what I see happening is maybe 50 or 60,000 Puerto Ricans who weren't going to vote, who were just like, I don't like this. I don't like either candidate. I'm just going to sit over here. I'm going to sit this one out like a lot of black people are doing. They saw that stuff about our island being garbage and you saying all this stuff about Latinos and whatever. And they're like, you know what? We're coming out. We're going to vote against Trump. 60,000 votes is more than enough to swing the election in Pennsylvania. More than enough. Right? Same thing. Like you got Wisconsin. You can have like 15,000 votes of people who weren't going to vote. But after that, they saw it. They're like, you know what? This is terrible. Got to vote against this guy. You know what I mean? He messing with our home. Let's go send a message. That's enough to swing it. They're deep, y'all. They are deep. They are deep. 65,000 in Wisconsin, 50,000 in Michigan, 486,000 in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Sager, they can swing it. You could just a fraction of those folks come out and vote against Trump will be enough to swing the vote. That's how close this race is.
You live in the continental U.S. You don't even live in Puerto Rico. What are you so upset about? So anyway, that's me.
I think the case for which I don't know, but the case for it mattering is, number one, in Philly, the places in the actual city of Philadelphia that have moved the most to the right were also the most heavily Puerto Rican parts of the city. And there's something like 500,000 Puerto Ricans in the state of Pennsylvania. So obviously, you know, that's an important constituency. And then the issue isn't just this comment. It reminds of the like Trump Hurricane Maria response and sort of brings up those memories, et cetera. Because I mean, I don't know. I like you when I'm looking at this Nikki Jam thing. I'm like, really? You didn't already know who this guy was?
Really,
like,
Nikki?
where you been? Okay,
Yeah, I'm like to
fine.
be honest, Nikki, the joke's on you, bro. You look like an idiot. I'll say it. Like it's like, oh, I never thought this could ever happen.
You're like, who did you think this was?
What's happening here, bro?
But so I don't know.
And here's the thing with that guy. That guy is one of the hottest reggaeton acts. He's up there. The reason he did that is because his people hit him up and was like, yo, you better do something, bro, or these people are going to stop buying your music. These people are going to stop following you. That's why he did it. He did it for his money. He's worried about his brand. It's like, man, I ain't on Trump that much. It's like, I was only talking about the economy, but hey, whatever. I'm about to come out here and say this. That's why he did it. Now, here's the thing. Does that mean he's not going to vote for Trump? He probably already did vote for Trump, if he's voting at all. A lot of these people are talking a lot of talk. You know, you look at these YouTubers as well. There are a lot of YouTubers out here who are just capitalizing on this, man. They want to make the money. Like, if I wanted to grow this platform, straight up, fellas, let me know what y'all think about this. If I wanted to grow this platform, if I became one of those black conservative, you know, political people, right, wouldn't I be able to grow this subscription count by at least tenfold, at least 10x it? By being a black guy for Trump, or a black conservative, and just kind of feeding that element what they want, because it's hard to find, right? Most people don't like this. They don't like the conservative stuff. They hate the Trump stuff. It's hard to find the content. There are people out there who are just giving them what they want. Now, you can sit around here and, you know, get 50,000 views here, 100,000 views there, you know what I mean, 300,000 views there, just because you're saying this stuff, right? And then you can be on your way to the bank to cash your checks and stop off at the polling place and vote for the Democrats, and then get back in the car and go cash your checks, and then go back into your house and then make some more content that's anti-Democrat. I get it. It's the business thing. I don't want to move like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not me. I ain't mad at the people who do. That's why I keep saying, like, you know, all these black men going out here to vote for Trump. That's not a thing, bro. And the people that they talk to, I watch those interviews and stuff closely. The people they're talking to, not even registered. They don't even know what a polling place is. They've never voted before. They're not likely voters. That's why it's kind of like you just disregard all that. And in fact, if you look at the early voting polls, the black vote is not coming out. Their numbers are down. So we're down to just the hardcore people who are just the political animals who are voting in this thing. The numbers are down. And that's what I'm saying. And then they turned around and that was definitely a plus for the Republicans, right? We got the black vote ain't coming out. That's a plus for the Republicans. But then you turn around and say what you said about the Puerto Ricans, it's a wrap. Nick Fuentes 2.0. Yeah, Nick Fuentes, bro. That dude. But that's my whole point. There are guys out there, they're, you know, just making the content, making money. I see it all the time. It's in my feed. And I'm just looking at them like, man, I bet you they voting Democrat, but they're getting the bag. They're getting the money. It's a business thing. To them, it's probably like, oh, it's just entertainment. You know, I just can't do it. I just can't. I can't do like that Byron Donald or whatever, you know, who was on the stage that night at MSG and they brought him out to that. You know, I wish I was in Dixie away or whatever. I can't. There's not enough money in existence to get me to do some shit like that.
No.
better for the economy. Why does it matter? Huh? So your feelings about Puerto Rico are more important than the economy? Then you're an idiot, okay? It must be nice to be a rich reggaeton star.
I mean, I feel like it's reasonable for people to feel like, oh, you just like hate me and the place I'm from and whatever, like disrespect it.
Tony Hinchcliffe thing. It's not even like Trump said. Hurricane Maria is a way more legit reason, by the way, to be upset about it. But clearly, Nikki didn't think about that whenever he was up on the stage. So, okay, I'll just leave it at that.
So anyway, again, it's one of these micro stories that after Election Day, we may look back and be like, oh, this didn't matter at all. Or we may look back and be like, damn, Trump lost Pennsylvania by like 5,000 votes. And maybe this was the difference maker right there, which would be really crazy, but you just never know how it's all going to
pray that doesn't happen just so I don't have to be subject to this discourse for another 3 years. Let's continue with.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't think it's gonna be that Team Trump loses Pennsylvania by 5,000 votes. I think it'll be like 25, to 55,000 votes. I think it's gonna be a big number. And I think it's all going to be that push from the Puerto Rican community that's going to make that happen. The same thing's going to happen probably in Michigan. And if you look at the polls right now, the latest exit polls, or not exit poll, but the latest polls that came out, which are probably the last polls to come out, they're going to come out until the election. Kamala is up in Wisconsin and Michigan, and it was tied in Pennsylvania. So we're going to see how this thing plays out. It's just one of those things, man. What a close race. And it's kind of like, when I watch football, like what a game. If I'm watching two football teams play, I remember when I watched Alabama and Georgia play a few weeks back, it was just a good game. It was just a good game. Like Alabama got all over Georgia. Second half, Georgia came out and started, fighting back. It was a great football game. I ain't got nothing, I ain't have a dog in that fight. I just sit back enjoying the game. Right. In my favorite gentleman's club, sipping on a Hennessy, watching the game. And it was a great game. Right. So that's how I'm looking at this election. It's like, I'm just watching it like, wow, this game's crazy. Super close, tight. Wow. I can't believe that team just did that. Ooh, was that a pick six this late in the game? Oh my goodness. That just changed everything. Right. That's how I'm looking at this. Like it is what it is. And it's just, bro. I think D-Mac was right. Trump's magic is definitely faded. If I were Donald Trump, I'd be doing everything I can to stay out of jail. Don't forget, guys, those cases ain't going away. If he doesn't win, if he doesn't become president, he's got to face those cases. The January 6th case out of DC, and he has to face the documents case out of Miami. And I think that's the one he really needs to be worried about, because that's the one that's going to get him locked up. I honestly believe that Kamala Harris is going to win this race. I think Joe Biden is going to pardon Donald Trump on his way out of office. I think it might be like the last pardon he writes. He's going to pardon Donald Trump. That's my thought on that. Because I don't believe Kamala Harris would ever do that. And then that's it. Donald Trump goes away. He doesn't have to get locked up. America has to deal with locking up a president. And then we move on to the next thing. But a lot of people, when I say that, I'm like, I think Joe Biden is going to pardon Donald Trump on the way out. They're like, no, that's never going to happen. I think it will, bro. I think it will. I could be wrong. Yeah, that video is all over the place, bro. That video, I didn't see the video of him trying to get in the truck, but his videos of him sitting in the truck. They're asking me questions. He got his elbow out or whatever. Come on, man. That's a big dude, man. He's old. He's fat. Like it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So that's it, guys. That's all I got. I just wanted to throw that out there. We talked about the Latino vote, talked about the Puerto Rican situation, Madison Square Garden. We talked about Tony Hinchcliffe and what was going on with that from a professional perspective as a comedian. We had like Ty Rivera. We were reacting to Ty Rivera's stuff. Shout out to Ty Rivera. We've just talked about the female vote, and we're going to talk about the male demographic tomorrow. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give you guys my take on what I hope is going to happen in the future with men in politics. I'm really hoping guys get involved. Red pill manosphere stuff, even the blue pill guys. I think because male issues are male issues. Definitely want to talk about that. We'll do that tomorrow, and we're working on that town hall we want to do. Our own little version of a town hall right here. We're going to talk about what's going to happen on Tuesday. That's it. That's all I got, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you. You guys rocking out with us, man. We're going to continue to do our thing, slowly grow. We're just slowly making our way, trying to find our footing, trying to find our voice. But then, after the election, come Wednesday, we're going to be back to talking about what we talk about over here. We're going to be talking about the sexual marketplace. Definitely going to be talking about ancient aliens and, the aliens build the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. Definitely want to talk about that. I have fallen down that rabbit hole, bro, and I am fascinated. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So, hey, man, enjoy you guys' evening, wherever you are. Thanks for rocking out with me. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.